Ready? Good. Now, right? So we are trying to learn the Pandas tool, which actually makes our life easy in calculating the statistical, statistical numbers, descriptive statistical numbers on data. I have taken, this is a quiz one, data, quiz one data. And I did not, this is like student one score, student two score, student three score, student four score, like that 20 student scores it is. And I'm creating a series object. See this? It's a series object. So what is series? I'll explain in a moment. Pandas will have two objects. One is series, another is data frame. Series object is like a column in your database. Okay, let me try to draw this and explain. So you all are aware of or familiar with database tables, right? So when we store structured data, we'll be storing it in databases, right? Like this. Like this. So there will be columns here. There will be, these are all columns, and a bunch of columns will make a table. So data, this table, right, is there on a database, like in a database. This table is stored on hard disk. This table is stored on hard disk, and when you type a query, select a star from so and so table, a query will get fired on the file, and the data will come back and show you on the screen, or maybe if you are using Java, Python, or some other language, it will get pulled out, and you can present it on the UI and whatever, right? So here in data frames like the pandas, the data will be stored in memory. Pandas will have two data structures, data frame and series. Okay, series is like one column. One column can be thought as a series object, and bunch of columns will make a data frame. Okay, first we are actually learning the building block, the series. The one column thing we are understanding, then we will understand data frame. Okay, so I have taken here one column. This is just one column. It is not part of a data frame yet, right? We'll see that how that relationship between series and object, data frame, merges. And I created a series object with all these values, and I specified that the data type is int 8. There are data types like int 8, int 16, int 32, int 64. I think int 64 is there or not, we have to see, but there are different bits, data types with the bits, because when you are creating 1 million numbers, suppose that you are creating a data frame or series object with 1 million numbers. If your data type is int 8, it is going to occupy for each number, it is going to occupy 8 bits. That means 8 million bits. Okay, it is 8 million bits. 8 million bits means divided by 1024 bytes. Right? And again divided by 1024 is megabytes, right? So let us try to do calculation. How much space it occupies? But this is needed. This is needed. Data science, machine learning. You need to be aware of how much memory the data structure is using, how much memory the process is going to use. So you need to be aware of. Rather, when you create a model, right, it will throw memory out of memory exception. Okay. So if you are not having sufficient memory, right? So 8 million means 6 zeros. 7 zeros I gave, yeah. 6 zeros divided by 1024 divided by 1024. So it's going to occupy 7 MB of space. 8 million numbers with int 8 is going to occupy 7 MB of space. If it is int 16, right, if the data type is int 16, it is going to occupy 14, maybe around 15 MB of space. If it is int 32, it's going to occupy into 4, right, 30 MB of space. So one column is occupying 30 MB of space. If you have 10 columns, it is going to occupy around 100 MB of space. Got it? If you choose this data type is int 32, right? Int 32, it would have occupied, if you have 10 columns there, it would have occupied 100 MB of space. If it is 8, right, it would have occupied only 10 MB of space, right? So that's the care you should be taking. If the data can be represented, 8 bits means 0 to 255, right? I think minus 255 to plus 255. So if your numbers are ranging between, if it is a rank, right? If it is a rank of a student in a quiz, it's going to be between 0 and 10 only. So no need of taking int 32. Int 8 is enough. If you take int 8, that's going to save lots of space. Got it? So while creating the data structures, you should be very careful. That's where Python gave us different, lengthed data types. Okay. So the series object. Now let us look at the series object. So I created PD. I said, what is PD? Import pandas as PD. This is called as alias name. Import numpy as NP. This is called as an alias name. And this PD and NP are used as a standard throughout the industry. Okay, throughout the industry, they'll use this PD to represent pandas, NP to represent pandas. If I don't say PD, right? Let me execute this and show. Right? I created a data frame, a series object here. If I don't say PD, what happens? I already created, right? We need to restart the kernel. Don't be worried about the restart stuff. So I just, so it doesn't know what is PD, right? In that case, what you need to do is you need to say pandas. Then it will work. I imported pandas. In pandas, I have got series object, series class. I am taking, creating an object of that series class with 20 values and data type. Okay. So if I say as PD, right, it's going to be easy. Whenever you have to use pandas, you can say PD. So to lazily work, to reduce the number of letters we are going to type, we represent this pandas as PD. Okay. Now I am printing the series object. Print series object. If you see series object, there is index, there are values, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. I did not give this index, but still it came. By default, series will create an index. Internally, the series object is nothing but a dictionary. Okay. The guys who built pandas, they took a dictionary and converted it to a series object. What is the use? Already I have a data structure. Why do I need to convert it to dictionary, series object? Because they added methods like this. On a series object, we have a method called as count, which actually gives you all non-null values. If I have some nulls here, right, np.nan. Now in our Oracle, the null value is null. Right? In our Java, null is small n ull, right? And then in pandas and data frames and all the data science or machine learning world, null is going to be np.nan. Np is numpy. Nan is an object which represents null. This is neither 0 or any other number, any other character. It's a blank space. It's a blank thing. To represent that, it is np.nan. So I have induced some null values here. Okay. Now I am going to create the series object again. Cannot convert float. Okay, I have to take float data type. So I am going to remove this. Right? I should create the np.nan is a float object, and we are actually taking integers, and that data type is not supported. Okay. So if you see this on the print, it is showing as nan, not a number. Okay. Now if you say count, you see 17. Even though there are 20 values there, it is showing 17 because 3 are nulls. Okay. So count method will give you all the non-null values. What is the use of it? On a data set, the nulls should be eliminated. That is the first task we are going to do. When you take a data set, we'll see whether there are nulls or not. And then we'll try to eliminate them and then go ahead. How do you eliminate? by looking at the data distribution. We'll see distributions clearly from Monday, right? So we'll clearly see distributions and find out which central tendency measure fits the null values. When data is close to mean, we'll take mean and replace. When data is very far from mean, we may take median or mode to replace the nulls. Getting it? I'm actually going into the machine learning and data science stuff and talking there, right? I'm going to repeat this again and again. So if the data distribution is too far, how do you know whether data distribution is far or close? Any techniques you know? So far, did we understood any
Standard
techniques?
deviation.
Yeah, mean and standard deviation, right?
Yes.
So yeah, standard deviation is the basic thing. Standard deviation is too high. That means the spread is too high. And standard deviation means what? Average distance between each data point and the mean. Average distance between all data points and mean. I can say all data points and mean. So average distance is high. That means randomly you choose any number, it's going to be far from the mean. So that's all you need to remember. I'll be asking questions. If you answer right, it's kind of a interview preparation. Believe me, this is the beginning. But once you are like maybe 75% of the course is finished, you can prepare resume. You put your resume and attend interviews. There will be no questions coming outside of whatever we cover here. Everything is covered, more than enough we cover here. Okay. If you follow the course properly, by end of the course, right, you will be able to build the tools, right? So that's like that's how we made this course, because it is not for general purpose training. It is for our team I built. So I told you. So we are actually using some people from the trained from this course, and we are actually doing the projects also. Okay. So here I took out the nulls. I just wanted to show you. There is count. There is another method called as head. If I don't pass any parameter here, it actually gives first 5. Okay, there is another method called as tail, which gives you last 5. Why do you need first 5, last 5? We just wanted to have a look at it. Generally, when we load the data, we generally want to have a look at it and see how the data is and all that. Okay, and then there are methods: mean, median, mode, standard deviation. So in our previous class, we actually looked at the formulas here. Do I need to remember the formulas? If you remember formulas, it is better, because in interviews when you are actually answering, when you remember formula, right, you can logically make sense out of the question. Sometimes the question may come from a different in a different way, right? The same concept may be different way. If you remember formula, right, answering question will become easy. If you don't remember formula, that's also fine, because everything is implemented here. Y series, Y data frame, this is the use. You can see count, you can see head, you can see tail, you can see mean, median, mode, standard deviation. No need to write code. Generally, if you don't have series object and pandas module, we have to implement this, right? We have to, like, whatever the mathematical operation I did here, this whole thing need to be implemented in Python or Java, right? That's the advantage of Python. It is a scientific language, and there are modules which are already built with the functionality, and we can directly use them. Okay, so series object provides these methods and many more. Okay, if you go into the API, there is a lot to practice. But whatever is covered here in the course is more than enough to do the projects. Okay, it may see like very little I am showing, but that is more than enough. Pandas series. If you say like this on Google, you will get that API. Is that the latest one? So this is the latest one, 0.24. Okay, so here, right, what is the data you need to pass? Index, D type, copy, right? And then there are attributes here, and there are methods. In a class object, right? In a class, there will be attributes and there will be methods. In our car example, right, I took like the length, width of the car as attributes, and then move forward, move backward, or process video. These are all methods. So methods will act on attributes. So when you create data, that gets assigned to data attribute. And when you are saying count, right, that will actually access the values in data attribute and count the distinct values. Right? The code is written in the methods. The variable, the values will be saved in attributes. Simply speaking, in a class object, the values will be saved in attributes. The code to process the data is written in methods, functions. Okay, they both are encapsulated in one block that is called as class. Okay, so here we have got mean, tail, right? If you pass a number right here, maybe nine numbers will come. Head will show you 9 numbers, and then mean is 7, median is 7, mode is 6, and then standard deviation is 1.24. I think I calculated wrong, right? On the first data set, how much I got? 1.22. It is actually 1.25. I don't know how did I got 1.22 there, right? And then there is an attribute called a shape. If you look at this, right, this shape has no brackets here, right? Only just saying that object dot attribute, right? See that it is showing you the shape of the data frame. Shape is 20. That means length is 20. There is no width. What is width? On a table, number of rows and number of columns, right? So number of rows it is showing. There are no number of columns because series object is one column. If you look at this, you cannot add multiple columns into series object. If you have multiple columns, right, you should go into data frame. We'll see that in a moment. Okay. So any questions so far? Any questions? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are,
excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, please.
So while using null, we are using as np.nam. So is it? Do we need to use the same only in these two? Means in pandas and numpy, or in whichever module we use, whichever module we use, we need to use the same np.nam for nulls in the data.
Pandas only, in the series object and in this data frames only, you should be using. Okay. What you say is throughout the Python, right?
Okay,
throughout yeah, np.nan is the one. Even in the TensorFlow, PyTorch, all the modules, it is np.nan is the one to specify null.
Okay, but actually NP is
module.
NumPy, right?
NumPy, yes.
Okay.
In AI, NumPy is the one which is used to represent data. That internally, even the series object is, using NumPy arrays only behind the scenes. Correct?
Yeah.
I think somebody is there. Okay. Maharshi Garu, can you hear me? So you need to join the what you call it as Microsoft Meets link. From tomorrow, we are going to use Microsoft Meets only.
Microsoft Teams.
Cisco WebEx, we are not going to use. You should have got an email, right? Please. No. Most recently, yesterday we sent email. Your email ID is with us, right? Yeah, please join Microsoft Teams. There are 2 links. One is for 7th and one is for 9th. So join the 7th one. Today, tomorrow, join the 7th one. Date 7, 9, November 7. So from Monday, we are going to use this Microsoft Teams. We are going to discontinue Cisco WebEx because it's not working. It's creating lots of problems for many people. Okay. Thank you. Please join that now. Class is going on and I shared the screen here. Okay. So you can do filtering also on the series object. What is filtering? You want to let me explain. You most of you may know the database tables, right? So most of you may know database tables. So here, if there is a table with age, height, okay, and maybe some more columns. Okay, you want to, right? You have 1 million records in this, right? You want to see the people who have who are who are at the age 50, exactly 50. Then what you will do on this table? If this table name is people. Okay, so then what you will do is you write a query like this, right? Select star from people where age is equal to 50, right? When you do that, you will get only the records which are whose age is only 50, right? Only 50, exactly 50 they will come, right? If you want between also you can give. Here you will give 50 and maybe age greater than 50 and less than 60, right? Like that you can give. Or between method is also there in some of the SQL tools. There is between method also, where between whatever you can give, age between whatever you can give, right? So this is called as filtering. On data, you have to do filtering, okay? And this series object is already present in memory. It is not saved on disk. When you load the data, it comes into memory. So if I want to see only the people who have who have achieved score greater than 7, this is a quiz data, right? Whatever data we are using is a quiz data. In the quiz, I wanted to see only the people who have got more than 7. So when I applied this greater than symbol on the series object, right? You see that I've got no here. I've got trues and falses here, right? So what is it? What is that saying is at second index it is true, more than 7. At sixth index it is true. At eighth index it is true. Right? If you look at the data, see that this is 9, this is 9, this is 8. Right? Wherever it is greater than, uh, greater than 7, right? We are getting true there. Okay. Our goal is to filter the data and see the scores which are greater than 7. So if you see this is only trues and falses. So if you apply like this, right? If you put brackets, rectangular brackets, and pass trues and falses here, if I actually say like this. Let me copy this. I'm just trying to show you how it works. Right, it is throwing error because it is not 20 numbers. I have to give 20 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. Okay, let me take this out and just copy this. See that when I pass trues, what is this? In rectangular brackets, I am passing some values. What is the data structure? What is the compound data type? What is this compound data type?
The list.
List, right? I am passing list of truths there. Okay, and I got 20, all 20 numbers. If I say false here, I'll get see that index will be missed somewhere. 8, 9, 10, 11 is missing, 11. Right? See that if I put false here, it will be clear. You can see clearly what is happening there. See that last index is missing, first index starts from 0, right? So if I put false here also, it will be more clear. See that second index, 11th index and last index, wherever you pass false, it is actually not outputting those values. Series object works like that. It is like filtering the data. So here, if you just do the logical operator on the series object, you get trues and falses. If I pass this object here, what is that object? We'll see in a moment. We get only those places, only those indexes as output where it is true. Here it is true, here it is true, here it is true, here it is true, like that it is coming. But what is this object? Let us see. It's a series object. A series object will take another series object as input in those rectangular brackets, and then I think I thought I put my camera on. So in that rectangular brackets, and then it filters. You can pass either a list of values here, list of trues and falses here, or a series object with the trues and falses, and it will actually take the indexes where the true is there, right? Even if it is a list or a series object, it will take the indexes only, index number, and then pull out the values associated with those indexes where it is true. You need to remember that. Even if if you can tamper this index and make it a different thing, we can do that. You can do that. I'll show you in a moment. Right? You can, if you can change this index to 19, if you can change this index to maybe 12 or something like that, or flip the indexes, right? Only the index which has got true, that value will be outputted. It is not that it's in sequence. Got it? Got the point? Right? Let me try to do one simple experiment, and let me try to take this into greater 7 as variable name. And one more thing, right? Python will not accept a variable name starting with number. If I say like this, right, it will not accept. See that? It says in a invalid syntax. So you should be putting it at the end or whatever. So I have kind of captured what is there in this, a series object with trues and falses, right? See the trues and falses. Yeah. So let me take this series object and convert into a dictionary. Okay. I'm actually trying to show something which I already explained. I said that the values at the index are going to be captured. It is not the order in which the values are present. Okay. So I'm going to convert this into dictionary. DICT, I'll say. I think two dictionary, two-dict is the method which actually converts the series object into dictionary. Now it is a dictionary. Control B. Okay. Why did I convert it into dictionary? Means I wanted to tamper these indexes. They are in sequence, right? I'll actually flip those indexes. Okay. So how to do that? How to tamper the index? Let me create a new dictionary. Here, I'll just copy paste these values. Okay. I'll copy paste these values. And then I'm going to flip, right? Actually 17 is false. That means 17 should not come. When I filter, the 17 should not come. But I'm going to make it as true. And or I'll actually copy this, cut it here. Sorry, I'll cut it here and paste it at 6, and I'll take it here. Why am I showing this is when you are actually working with data, right? Sometimes the indexes may not come in a sequential manner, and you may want to do some filtering, and you may see that it is not working as you expected, but it will work as you expected. Okay, but it will work perfectly, but we need to understand how it's working. Okay, and again 10 also, I'm going to tamper it with 18. And then so 17 and 18 will also come now. Now let us try to do this. Okay.
So we should give the series object,
Convert
right?
series
We are giving
object,
here
yes.
dictionary.
Convert a dictionary into series object and series object into dictionary. See this 17 and 18 came in. Because whichever index has got true, right? Whichever index has got true, those values will come. It is not the order in which the data is present. Okay, got it, right? I should have taken values only as a list and passed it, right? That's also a simple thing. That's all. Got it, right? Any questions? This is filtering on a series object. Okay. When you practice, right, you will understand better. Don't go into these details, whatever I'm showing here. Just practice these, these methods, median, mode, standard deviation, and some methods here, just try to practice them. And if you have questions, right, if you want, we can have practice session tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. We will do it on a, and if everybody is willing, right, we'll do it. If one or two is coming, right, maybe Sunday, we may not. Saturday we'll definitely do. Whether one person comes, also Saturday will do. Okay. So that is about the filtering concept. Now there is a method called as value count. This is very useful. This is very useful. We'll use this extensively. And this quiz one, right? I am trying to do value count. What are the values in the quiz? They are numbers, right? How many are sixes? Six sixes are there. How many are sevens? Five sevens are there. How many eights? Four eights are there. How many nines? Three nines are there. How many? So if you have to manually write this code, right? You have to write lots of code. So value counts will give you easily. When you look at this characters, right, you will understand better. In the series object, we have characters. Okay. New series. I created a new series object. And then when I said value counts, it is actually giving me how many B's are there, how many C's are there, how many A's are there, how many L's are there. See this? How many B's? 1 and 2, right? And 3. How many A's? 1, 2. In a data set, if there are 1 million numbers, right, belonging to maybe 10 people, only 10 people, right, 10 IDs and 1 million numbers. You wanted to see for first ID how many, for second ID how many, third ID how many. You can just put it into a series object and say value counts. For data analysis, the series objects are going to be very useful. And machine learning algorithms, scikit-learn's machine learning algorithms, series objects and data frames. Okay, very important. Okay, so now index is another attribute which actually use where the index starting, where stopping, and how is it stepping.
Sir,
and you can
in my series, if I have two numbers which occurs frequently for the same time, suppose 7 and 8 occurs for 6 times each, then what will be my mode, sir?
So it will come 6 here. For 6 times and 7 also 6 times. This is the value
But
in the.
if I calculate mode, two numbers which occurs frequently for the same number of time.
It will randomly pick, either this or that. Try to take it and try to take a series object and then do it with this mode, right? Maybe it takes average. I don't know. I never tried that. You can.
That will give that will, if it occurs more than once, it will give exception, and that is called a bimodal distribution. If it is having only one mode, it is unimodal. If it is having two modes, it is called bimodal. If it is having three, trimodal, like that.
Let me take this and do it. The question is good. Let us try it out. It's not going to take much time, right? So what you are saying is have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can experiment, I think. Okay. 5 sevens, 5 7. See that it randomly picked it, right? Maybe if you have 8s, right? Maybe last whatever the one which is occurring at the last, it is picking. Data is ambiguous. It took 7 only. I don't know why. Oh, okay. I'm not. I have taken different object there. Sorry. That original object only. I'm sorry. See that?
Mode, sir.
Let me try to copy this, paste it here, and that way I'll use it. It gave 3 numbers as mode. Maybe we have to take an average of it ultimately. See that if you have 2 modes, I think whatever Bala was saying is right. Bimodal
distribution. Normally, unimodal distribution will be more, but there are situations where bimodal and trimodal and many polymodals will exist.
Then we can take average also, right? Take the modes and then take mean of those modes, and you will get an approximated number. Got it?
Okay, sir.
Sir, normal distribution is a unimodal.
And yeah, it will have one mode, one median, one mean. Yes. Yeah, I think if you have bimodal, right, you may have 2 normal distributions in it in the data set. Maybe bumps like that, right? We'll see that. Yeah, that's a good point, Pala. Thank you. And value counts we have seen, right? Here, I think I was confused. I was actually, I thought you were asking about these, but not value counts. That's a good thing. So here, right, I have taken these. You can clearly see that A's, how many A's, how many B's. It is about values, how many values. Okay, and then index, and then you can use the what you call it as list comprehension. Same index is actually a iterable object, and I did a list comprehension. How do you do list comprehension? For x in the index, you are pulling out x and putting into a list or set or whatever. Okay, that is list comprehension. Again, dot values, right? Dot values method, dot values attribute will give you values. Dot index will give you indexes, and you can convert. This is an array, NumPy array. It is. We'll see
sir,
what is
in for loop. What is the value of the first x, sir?
That is what is the list comprehension. I think I explained that list comprehension in compound data types in Python. Right? Okay. If you see that, right? If you see that highlighted part, that is the for loop actually iterating through the iterable object. What is iterable object here? The index. Right? This range index is the iterable object. The series objects index is a range index object, and that is an iterable object. We are iterating on that using for loop. When we get that x, right, we are trying to capture it into additional list here. This is an additional list, right? That extra brackets out of it, right? If you see, that is just a for loop, right? If you generally want to print or do something, right, you will do like this, print x, right? I'm not doing that. I'm not printing. I'm actually trying to capture the values into another list, another data structure. Then what you should do is, that is for loop, right? What I want to capture x, right? Into which data structure? List, enclosed in list. So whatever x it retrieved from this list, it is iterable object. It is putting into that additional whatever data structure. If you want to extract that into a set, you should be doing that like that. It becomes a set object. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Comprehension is very important. Many places, many articles will have it, and even in our code also we'll use it. And why am I worried about articles is the technology is evolving. Every day you will have something new. So even after learning also, even after 6 months of learning, when you have to work on a project, you may have to look into some articles, and you need to understand the terminology and the code they written there. So that's one of the major focuses of the course. I covered lots of content, lots of code, In all of it, you will see these kinds of things. Try to understand each and everything. It is an extract of whatever is there out of that ocean of the knowledge. Okay. So if you are good with whatever I am explaining here, you will be good for the career. That you need to remember. Okay. So here values is another attribute which gives you values. And yeah, string index and nulls. We will have indexes. We can create index. So here I have done a list comprehension where I am actually applying if x not a null, right? I can say not null also, not n. I think not null is not going to work. It is in SQL. It is going to work. So what I did is I created a list here with the null object, and I wanted to eliminate null from this data. So look at this carefully. From here till here, it's the for loop iterating through, right? When it is iterating, it is getting one value into x. As soon as we got the value, we are checking with this if condition. If that x belongs to this subset or not. If it is not, then only we are going to extract it and put it into the enclosed list. If it is, we are not going to take it here. It will come back to for loop. Again, take the next x, check whether it is there. If it is not, then it will capture. If it is, it will just keep on moving, keep on moving, keep on moving. Take the value, check it, take the value, check it, take the value, check it. If it is, the condition is true, then it will come into the enclosed x. So what is the use of list comprehension? This is the use. You can write multiple list comprehensions, one inside the other. Like nested for loops, you can write multiple. That will reduce lots of code, but it may make some people's life difficult. Whoever is trying to understand the code next time, their life is going to become difficult. One thing we should remember in the industry is that when we write modular code, that is good. But if you do too much modular code, right, it's going to become difficult for other people to maintain and manage. So that was forgotten, right, long back, maybe around 15 years back. People have forgotten it, and there is lots of people who do, who are very intelligent, right? They do lots of modularization, but that becomes very difficult for others to maintain. So we should have balance. Code modularization should also be there, but we should keep the balance there. Okay. So this list comprehensions are useful in reducing number of lines of code. Okay. So when you package it as a module and try to ship it, right, there you will save lots of space there. Okay. Let's see that. So I have created one more series object where I have got indexes also. In the first series object, right, I have 20 numbers, but there is no index, and by default the default index it took 0 to 20, 0 to 19. But we can create our own index also in a series object. It is like dictionary, the key and value. These are the values. These are the keys. Indexes are the keys. Okay. So I have taken 20, S1, S2, and so on, S20, student 1 to student 20. And then I am printing, right? It is showing the indexes as list, the what you call it as string indexes. They are string indexes. Even when you have string indexes, right, you will have the numerical indexes present there. Let me try to see that. Can I access like this? See that? See that? Right, 10th value, right? Maybe I'll take the third one. See that? It is actually having the numerical index present, even though I created the string index. Okay, some index, custom index I gave, but even then it will keep the numerical index intact. Okay, so that's one thing we need to remember. And I can print, and it will show the indexes there, index and values there. And then isNull is a method, right? We have seen count, mean, median, standard deviation, and attributes like shape and values, index, right? These are all different attributes provided by series object, series class. Somebody implemented it. It is easy for us to use. There is a method called isNull also, because in our data science machine learning, our main focus is to eliminate nulls and keep the data, not to remove data is our focus. keep whatever is there. We want it to be there, in the data set. So is null is a very important method where it will give true when it is null. Okay. So if I want to see only the not null values, right? Oh, not like this. I think I should. This is not going to work outside. It's going to work in the brackets. Okay. So I'll show you in a moment. So is null is a method which gives you a series object with all trues and falses. Right? We did filtering, right? Greater than symbol, greater than 7 we did, right? Wherever it is true, it was giving values. So I wanted to filter only null values, I should be giving like this. Oh, it's a tilde symbol, I forgot. Okay, so here it is an object, that is the series object, and series object that is null is actually going to give you a series object of trues and falses. When I pass it in the brackets, right, it will filter. It is like select a star from that series object where it is null. It gave me all the indexes where it is null. If I want to see not null values, right, like this, you should give tilde symbol. In Python, and or not are keywords. And or and not. And is a logical operator. Or is a logical operator. Not is also a not logical. Not not is a logical. If you give not here, right, it will show it as a keyword. But when you execute, it will throw error. Inside the brackets of that series object and data frame, if you want to apply not condition, you should be using tilde symbol. Tilde symbol. Shift and below that escape character, escape key, you will have one tilde symbol, right? You should be using that. So it will give only the rows which have got non-null values. Let me try that tilde symbol here and see. I'm going to work outside. That's what I tried. Okay. So if you want to see the not null values, right, you should be giving it inside the bracket. Okay. Tilde symbol is not. Okay. So that's about the series object, and I left this second series object for you. Just practice on it and come back with questions. And if you want to, how many of you would like to join tomorrow's session?
I'll join, sir.
Okay. So please let us know. Please let us know in the WhatsApp group, right? If you are all, if you most of you would like to join, right? We'll have tomorrow.